Good day, everybody, and welcome to High Heat. Late June, nice to have with us as we talked about what's going on as far as the world of baseball is concerned. Moses and the crew, Liberty Mutual, you and me now, as we get you settled, and hopefully we'll have ourselves a 60-game season. I think they will. I think the protocols will be in order, and I think it'll get started here late July. Let's just sort of do a little synopsis of where we stand right now, without trying to take sides, because that always gets very polarizing. Number one, it seems like both sides are going to agree on the 60 games. I mean, obviously no signed agreement, but agree on the 60 games. And the key here is what we haven't seen is basically a little kumbaya. I mean, I want the players to, and the owners to get together here and do what's good for the sport, promote it properly, be fan-friendly as much as they possibly can, and to have ourselves a season that the fan base can get into. I mean, if you want to put all sorts of rules in, again, we've gone through this 1,000 times, I'm all for it. You want to make it easier for the players and, make sure we put a guy at the top of the 10th man on second base. You want to have ties, I'm okay with that too. But be as fan-friendly as you possibly can be. No more animosity. No more fighting amongst each other. Just go out there. We know you don't love each other at the moment. We understand that. But go out there and for the fans, realize we have to put this behind us. We're going to deal with this probably again in a year and a half. Put this behind us. Let's be therapeutic for our audience. And let's make sure that when we start, we're all on the same page and we're going to put together as good a regular season as we possibly can. Should it have started July 4th? We all know the answer to that is probably yes. Should this have been done so we could have had the full month by ourselves with no NBA, no NHL? Yes. More games? Yes. But it is what it is. It's 60 games. It could have been worse. So let's take advantage of it and give as good a 60-game scenario as we possibly can. And if the players are annoyed and guys say, you know what, I don't care about the third payroll, I'll give it up, nobody should do that. Everybody should be in. Sport needs some healing right now, and everybody who is able should play. I know if you got a health issue, you got a baby coming, I understand, but everybody should play. And when you go to training camp in your home stadium, go with bells and whistles. If the media asks you a question, answer it. Be fan-friendly, because you need to sell the sport right now. Both sides, they need to sell the sport right now. Nobody wants to hear about any more bickering with what has gone on in the world in the last 5-6 months. The other thing that we have to concern ourselves with, and this is really more for the fans than it is for the players and the owners. The fans, if you're a baseball fan, you are going to have to put this beside, you're going to have to put this behind you. It is baseball. It is games. It is fun, even though, of course, no fans in stadiums. You're going to have to forget about the idea of the real champion. Is this a real champ? Is this going to have an asterisk next to it? In history, it's going to. The NBA and the NHL have had the advantage that they have played, essentially 4/5 of their season. So if the NHL gets an Avalanche Bruin final, fans are going to look at that legitimately, despite the fact they had a 4-month pause. If the NBA gets Lakers Bucks, the NBA fan is going to look at that legitimately, even though they've had a 4-month pause. The baseball fan, it's different because they didn't start a season. So there's been no form established. So as a result of that, with the 60 games, it's only a third of the year, essentially. So from that standpoint, where do you stand if you get a Diamondback, give you something wacky, Angel World Series? Over 162, the depth, the Yankees and Dodgers, maybe Houston, a couple of other teams would have been the best teams. And under 60 games, it's a sprint. It's not a marathon, which makes it, more equitable for the teams, even the Pirates, that don't have a chance. And the baseball fan is going to have to understand that going in, that, all right, this is not theoretically a legitimate season. We all know the postseason money was very instrumental in bringing both sides back to the table. We get all that. And, of course, if you can't not play for 17 months, we get that. But if you're a fan of the sport and they start playing on saying play ball on July 25th, whatever that opening day might be, if you want to get into it, get into it. Don't sit there and tell yourself every 5 minutes, this doesn't count. The season's a waste anyway. Why bother? Don't look at it that way. It's something that you're going to get that you didn't think maybe you'd get back in the middle of March. So cherish it. It is baseball. They've done damage. It's going to take a while, but it is baseball. Now, is Christopher Russo, in 2036 on his deathbed, Is he going to sit there and say the 2020 champion was legit? Well, I'd probably like to handle that at the time, and I probably won't. But I'm going to understand, they were only going to play more than 80 games anyway. So it's not like the 20 games should make that big a difference. They were only going to play 80 games. And weren't going to play 130 games. It was only going to be 80 games. So if you're a fan, you got to look at it from that standpoint. 60 to 80. I'd rather have played 80, but it isn't the end of the world getting 60. You got 60 games. It's a different form. It's a sprint. I understand there's no expanded playoffs. You may not get a Yankee-Dodger, quote-unquote, World Series. Be a little different. But if you're a baseball fan, the players are going to try hard. They're going to try to win a championship. The games are going to be on television. Joe Buck's going to be in the booth. I mean, it's going to still count. So from that standpoint, you got to look at it that way. If you're a fan, if you're a baseball fan, it's baseball is essentially what it comes down to me. But again, I think both sides right now, to me, the key is after this gets all settled with the health protocols, I don't want to hear another word about, I know the union's got to probably file, they're both going to file grievances. I understand that. Outside of that, be quiet. I don't want to hear anybody from their side. I don't want to bring anybody from the owner's side. Nothing. Let the game on the field. Let the folks go out there and try to analyze the season, like me, where I don't got to sit there and fight wars about who's right and who's wrong. It's baseball. So once July 1 starts and we get this grievance procedure out of the way, let's think about the fact who is best equipped to make a quick 60-game postseason run, and then who in the postseason with a shorter year can capitalize. Because we all know postseason baseball, it's a crapshoot. Let's cherish that as a sports fan. And listen, the NBA and the NHL, you're not going to get that month break as you would have gotten if you started July 1st. So you got some competition right out of the gate. And remember, they've already played a good part of their season. So there's a legitimacy angle that baseball is not going to have. But still, summertime, stadiums, not indoors. Let's go. Let's play. So we'll give them 4 or 5 days to get all the protocols taken care of. Who shows up to spring training? Who goes where spring training is going to be? Home ballparks. Once everybody shows, the fans deserve better. Nobody wants any moaning and groaning. Show up and play. Owners, do a good job on your end with tickets and refunds and all that nonsense. And let's go. Let's play the sport quietly and promote it. So that's where we leave it. And now we hope once, the new month turns in about a week, we can focus in on baseball. And, it is what it is. Is it, 162 games? No, it is what it is. We'll be with you. The MLB Network will be out there doing what we do as far as promoting the sport is concerned. Hopefully there's plenty of kumbaya moments. And hopefully we all understand the scenario. We put this behind us and get into it. Moses and Rich Savino, Elliot Cobb, all the fellas, Mitch Green, who have been part of these broadcasts here from home. Hopefully we'll be back raring to go here in the not-so-distant future. Great job, Liberty Mutual, being in our corner. And we will see you, obviously, later in the week and hopefully a little bit more regularly shortly. Adios.